Hello and everyone, welcome to the review show. We are slightly behind schedule, but it's because two games, lots to cover, a lot of other things to do as well. But yeah, we'll first talk about the game that is just finished, and we'll then talk about the first game. So quite a carnage there in the first innings from Henrik Larsson and Marco Jansen. Uh, Such was their carnage that I think a lot of us would forget that Reeza Hendricks also played a very good hand when he opened. But what just happened there with England? Nikhil and Anirudh, talk to me about it. Did you expect this kind of collapse, or once the South Africa got to 399, you felt this was always on the cards?
I would say that England got absolutely cooked physically on the field, and that also contributed in them getting cooked mentally. And what I saw in the second innings was a team that was both physically and mentally tired, and they could not do absolutely anything. And it ultimately comes back to the decision of the toss. And I don't know how many times you've said this in this World Cup so far that the team that opted to chase took the wrong decision, but I mean, you can't help but look back at that decision, right? It's like humid as hell, and it's the players are literally struggling to, just even stay on the field. You saw how the heat was doing a number on not just the bowlers but also the batters. And after that, it just looked like England had nothing in them. And what unfolded after that was probably the worst display I have seen from any full member in a long, long time. I mean, I can't recall. In top clash between two nations, I can't remember a team being so bad. Like, I don't think England were even this bad in 2015. Like, we talk about the 2015 moment for England, but I don't think England was this bad in any 2015 match even. This was one, maybe the New Zealand match, but whew, this was just embarrassing. And I guess this is it for them, in this World Cup, unless there's a miracle, which I don't see happening.
You mentioned the toss and the decision to bowl first. I remember I felt that maybe even South Africa could go down that route, but clearly I've been proven wrong. On that note, I was just checking. After 20 games in this World Cup, we have had 10 wins while batting first and 10 wins while chasing. So it's been pretty toss agnostic in that sense. Nikhil, what do you feel about that decision? Do you think I think that England probably chose to bowl first because they did not really have enough confidence in their bowling to defend a total here at Wankhede. What do you think about this?
It's a catch-22 situation if you take into consideration they haven't chased more than 250 since
Yeah,
2022 now.
yeah.
So that is telling you that you're not able to chase as well. And then your strong point is batting. So something that we discussed in the preview that maybe then you want to protect that bowling and just back your better suit to come good and then bat without the pressure of the run rate, which is what you saw South Africa do, and they did it perfectly. I mean, even when you saw Markram get out and Miller get out in probably quick succession, you felt okay. Now there is a chance, minute chance for England to come back. Both of them held back. Both Marco Hansen and Klassen held back, and after a while they both just took off. And after that, I don't think there was any which ways England was going to chase this down. Again, we discussed about the ball moving a bit under lights in Wankhede. We saw that happen, and it is classic England, right? That you drop four all-rounders, and then you pick possibly your best bowling, possibly attack, and then they concede the highest ever ODI runs. But then your batting, your stronger suit is you were 100 for 8, and then two guys, one of them is on debut. They go on to hit 35, batting as if there are no demons. So I actually don't know where England will feel that they've been robbed or they've lagged because you just don't get the vibe from this England side. I mean, with Morgan, you could sense that there's a lot more. Again, not the best in terms of reading body languages, but it's just about how they look and how they are going about playing their cricket. So 399 for 7 versus 170 top lead didn't bat, which is why that's the 9 there. So, and again, Mark Wood is the top scorer there. 43 of, I don't know if you ever thought that was coming in 2023, but yeah, it has come.
Now, we will have a lot of time to talk about Andre Klassen. We will have a lot of time to talk about the all-round effort of Marco Jansen, but I want to talk to both of you guys about Reeza Hendricks innings today, because there was an early wicket, and I loved how he played the spinners. Uh, went I think he sort of learned from that dismissal of Van der Dusen, that he chose not to hit Rashid across the line, went over covers, found a boundary, and then those two sixes to root. So how good was that innings? Because it must not have been easy to come in, knowing that Temba's not available. So uh, yeah, just tell me how well did he bat, and how did he set up the whole game?
I mean, probably
Yeah, I think,
yeah,
yeah, go on, go on.
yeah. I mean, probably the lack of pressure helped him. Like just coming in the last moment, nobody expects anything from him anyway, and he probably was not even mentally stressed, thinking about anything. And just like the KL situation against Pakistan in the Asia Cup, maybe last month, where he said something of similar lines, where he was just, he just went and played without thinking anything. But yeah, I mean, brilliant knock once again. Hendricks again, showing he's probably the right man at the wrong time. He's just very unlucky that Bavuma is ahead of him. In ODS, you can understand it to an extent, although he was probably very unlucky to not play the T20 World Cup last year. But it's very difficult to keep performing when you're in and out of the side. Even someone like a Josh Inglis has spoken about it. He's someone who's similar to Hendricks, where he's in and out of the side constantly. He's never gotten a run of games, but just brilliant. And I also thought he was helped by the fact that this was the most South African wicket he could have played on in India, probably. It's the bounce is the highest. It's very true, and not much turn. And even if there is turn, it's like you can probably just play it off the pitch. You won't get beaten off the wicket. So that way he did really well. Although I think he did not read a couple of Rashid googlies, and that did him towards the end, but sensational knock. Nevertheless, unfortunate for him that he did not get to a ton. I thought he really deserved a century there, but let's see. Maybe if Bavuma sits out one more match against Bangladesh at Wankhede, then Hendricks could get that ton there. But he set the tone for South Africa, really. You saw what happened with England's top order. That is exactly what Hendricks prevented, and he also absorbed the pressure, because let's not forget they were 18 for 1 after 6 overs, and the tide turned around after that. So it was an all round, probably a knock. I would say like close to 8.59 out of 10. I would say.
Yeah, Nikhil has
Just
something to add.
Yeah, just on that point, I think it is something that I found Butler guilty of being very often, that he's trying to give people extended spells, but then those extended spells are not helping the side, with the conditions, and also in terms of, sometimes you just don't have to. So I think it is now again, it is something that you saw happen in the Dharamshala game as well, or in the game prior to that, where she just kept it very textbook, or templatized that, okay, we need to give him 4 over spell, we need to give him a 5 over spell. I understand Topley was injured and then he got root on, which is fine. You can understand the rationale there. But I just felt that when you've built the pressure, that's when you want to get in a Mark Wood, just maybe at that time. I know it could be risky, it could travel, but I just feel sometimes it makes it easier for the opponent to also plan that now that we've got it, now the same guys are bowling, their pace wasn't the problem. It was the movement that they were getting, so they were waiting for it to die out. And the moment it died out, both of them started to just find the gaps on both sides of the game. So again, maybe it could not mean something, but it is just something that I found very striking for me, that in this heat, everybody, every other bowling attack while bowling first, they've been giving, even Hazelwood and Stark have most probably bowled 3 overs in their first spells, because it hasn't been easy. So while they have put the control, it's also a good time to get the other guy in, and then you use that attack better, maybe. So, but again, surely England have more data to look at.
Mhm.
Now, Anirudh mentioned about that 6 overs, 18 for 1 kind of situation, after which Topley went off. Now, we are not sure what is the status of Topley's injury. Talk to me about who were the bright spots in that England bowling attack today. Or Topley did take wickets, but he also went for a lot of runs. So what all could England have done better actually to prevent that carnage in the end, or just try to restrict South Africa? Or do you think it was just that kind of a pitch where 350 was a given and there was not much they could have done early on?
Who's taking it?
See,
Take it, you take it, yeah.
yeah. See, the
Yeah,
point
it's
there
my
is
bad. I did not take names. Sorry, I'll
no,
do that
no,
next time.
no problem. The fact there is, see, they started decently well, and this is probably the attack that they had in terms of bowling options. Uh, I think what led or what Butler felt that let them down would have been the start for Rashid, but again he still came back and took a wicket. But by then they had gotten a score. I mean, when they got Quinton very early, I thought, wow, this could really turn out to be a massive moment, because when you have only six batters who are in form, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at quick wickets, just put them under pressure. But the lens, even I think Paji has talked a lot about this with Harris Rock. I think Mark Wood is ending up bowling the same thing that is everywhere. He's gone short, but that length is not working for him. People are able to pick him, and I think that variation just hasn't come. That people know what's going to come. Either it's going to be short or it's going to be very full looking for that Yorker, and then people are ready for it. So I think that the control or the enforcing role that Butler wants from Wood hasn't come through. And when you don't take a lot of wickets, when you don't have anybody else to go ahead to, then you're not having enough options. And Root, again, he might work on the odd day, but you are not looking for wickets with Root. You are looking for just control. And some tight was like what Pakistan did with Iftikhar. Though Iftikhar bowled very well after the first 3 overs, but I feel it's just the performance of individuals in terms of, now when you pick Willie, you know what you get there. So it is the control at the start, but that's all. And that's why he's been in and out of the side as well. So again, maybe it made sense to give him more overs, but then you have to adapt to the situation and just change your lens also.
Yeah, I would like to add one more point is that what we've been seeing throughout this World Cup is England's inability to replace Liam Plunkett 4 years after they kind of phased him out of the ODI setup is still haunting them, because we know that Liam Plunkett along with Adil Rashid were the ones who were picking up wickets for England in the middle overs when they won the World Cup during that particular period. And it's almost as if this year they entered the World Cup assuming that, okay, we have Mark Wood who can bowl 150, we have Gus Atkinson who can bowl 145. They will automatically take middle over wickets. It's like they just assume that, okay, these two guys, because they have pace, they'll take middle over wickets. Because Adil Rashid has bowled superbly in 2 matches. Afghanistan, he bowled a wonderful spell. He pulled things back, which could have been a 360, 370 score if Adil Rashid didn't take those 2 wickets he did. Again, today, if he did not take those 2 wickets, it could have been a 450 score. Who knows, right? But unfortunately, there has been no one to support Adil Rashid at the other end. They don't have a bowler who understands the role of bowling well in the middle overs, I feel, and a pacer or a second spinner, considering Moeen is not in the 11, maybe a pacer. So it's just when you don't take wickets in the middle overs, and when you have a death bowling attack that is non-existent, because Willie is a new ball bowler who does not bowl well at the death. Topley probably okayish, but again he was injured today, and he also is not a death specialist. Sam Curran had one good World Cup that was in long boundaries, long grounds, bigger grounds, not proven in small conditions. Chris Woakes not a death bowler. Gus Atkinson very new to international cricket. So you don't have a death bowling attack at all, and you don't take wickets in the middle overs. So teams will just know that play out 6-7 overs at the start, and that's it. You can just feast against this England lineup. And we even saw forget uh, Klaassen and Jansen. We even saw Mujib and
Yeah.
Co kind of take England for runs after losing 7-8 wickets. So
Yeah.
this is going to be a big problem, and that's why I feel that it's really hard to see England coming back and qualifying for the semis, for which I think they have to win all 5 matches from now on. So it's
Yeah, you mentioned that, so I just want to show our viewers what are the next matches for England. They play Sri Lanka in Bangalore, then India in Lucknow next Sunday, Australia in Ahmedabad, Netherlands in Pune, and Pakistan in Kolkata. So these are the next 5 matches that they have now. They have to win all 5 to stay in contention, and probably even if they do that, they could really lose out on the net run rate bit. And if they want to really avoid it, they'll have to win all 5 to be in the best case scenario. Now you'd think that they can beat Sri Lanka, Netherlands, and Pakistan. I mean, Pakistan in Kolkata could really turn out to be a good game given how England's bowling is going. Yeah, Nikhil, why don't you go?
Yeah, see, the problem there is the confidence of the side. I think after a game like today, it will take a lot of character, which I'm sure that there is, because of course they are all players who've been part of many ups and downs, and they'll find a way to bounce back. But I just feel it's the manner of dismissal today, dismissal in terms of as a side. They were out batted. There was nothing that worked with the ball and also with the bat in terms of, I mean, Root getting out to leg slip, David Maran getting strangled down the leg side, Johnny Bairstow picking up and finding the only fielder there, Root getting a grubber, Ben Stokes getting out to almost a nonchalant return catch from Rabada. So again, these are the kind of games where you just feel nothing went your way. But it's been like this for a while with England. So they'll have to really pick themselves up. And of course, Joe Root's form will be of massive importance for them to beat any side. It's not to say that they'll not win games, but the problem is now the template is out there for everybody to exploit. As Anirudh just said, you play out the new ball, and there isn't a much threat at this point of time to be able to tell you that, okay, this is something that I'll be really scared about. So yes, you'll have to play Rashid well. Yes, you'll have to counter Wood well. But that is a thing that you will take, given that they're down on confidence. So I do see them winning a few games, but I don't think it will be as straightforward even against Pakistan. Because Pakistan, they did put up, I mean, I'll go back to the bit about 150 dot balls because I still can't get over the fact that if you will 25 overs of dots, there is a lot more room for you to be even better in terms of controlling the bad balls. So I don't think those games will be easier, even if they are against Pakistan. And where do they play Sri Lanka? I missed that.
Chinnaswamy.
Yeah. So that is where maybe they can flex their muscle if they want to, because India in Lucknow game might be a tricky one if the surface is what we saw earlier today with spin in picture. That's where again there's no way to play Chahal, but then there's a lot of good temptation to complete that cycle if at all there ever was one. But yeah, it will be tough times. Very keen to see how they come up, because I think the time will also come where they'll realize that it wasn't about Ben Stokes coming back or anything. I just don't think there is a fixed pattern or a way that they're looking to play, which is something that you don't often associate with England. That in test matches, this is what they're trying to do. In ODI cricket, it's actually just come on to be that, okay, if Root and Maran don't work out, do we actually have people who can bat deep? And that is something that I'm very keen to see how they go about it, because Bairstow was out injured. Brook has just come back in the side. And Butler's record in India, in ODIs, it's not promising. So lots and lots to worry for England.
Yeah,
Also,
before I answer, okay, go
I
ahead.
just make one point. Also, I think probably this is something that's been overlooked in terms of the mess, but Bairstow's form has been really, really bad. I think since the start of 2022, he's averaging like 21 and 13 ODI innings or something. And I mean, Bairstow and Roy, we know what they set the tone for England's wins throughout the 2015 to 19 cycle, or 17 to 19 rather. But Roy is gone now; he's out of the picture, and Bairstow has been in such poor form that it's just not happening at all. And when you have Malan and Root as your 2 and 3, you know that teams are not going to be counterpunched to to say the least. So it's I mean, it's a very big mess for England that way, that none of their batters are in form right now. If you look at it, none of their batters are in form. Malan is the only one in form. But again, if you're an if I'm an opposition bowling attack, I'm not intimidated by Malan, even though he's averaging 60. Let's be honest. With
You
all due
wanted to
respect,
drop him. You wanted to drop him.
no, I'm not dropping him, but he's not someone who intimidates me as a batter if I'm a bowling. I'm sure no South African batter bowler walked in today thinking that okay, if Malan gets a 150, we are in trouble. So I'm just putting it that way. So which is why with Root and Malan at 2 and 3, Bairstow's form becomes so important for England. But Bairstow has been probably the worst batter on current form along with Butler. So it's just I mean it has to be a huge 180-degree turn from here, and they just say that it can't get worse from here. The only way up forward is upwards, and that's all they
Yeah,
can do, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah. You know, while Milan may not be intimidating, there was one batter who's very, very intimidating. In ODIs this year, and to all those who are watching, I like you guys to please like this video, because if we get to 50 likes, all of those 50 likes can count for something. That the most intimidating batter right now, Henrik Klaasen, doesn't have a good day versus India. So let's get take us to 50 likes in today's video for that. But yeah, how do you stop Henrik Klaasen? Because right now he's averaging around 55 at a strike rate of 148 in ODIs, with a strike rate of more than 135 against every bowling type. So how do you stop him?
You bowl here like down leg, and I hope he pulls one ball straight to fine leg. That's how you can stop him.
Yeah, I think it's actually very rare to see someone who's been so much in control, both versus pace and spin, in terms of what he wants to do. And again, you look at him, some of the shots that he played towards the end, he was just standing there. The ball is going away from him, but he's still able to just time it so well after looking like, okay, he may not want to do that, but the ball is still timed too well to go for a six. And of course, he has the reverse sweep, he has the norm, the conventional sweep is there. So it's not that there is something that you can hide this area, or just bowl to this part of the field. Maybe you just have to bowl your best bowler, and of course I'm sure teams are spending enough time there. But again, as Anirudh said, maybe there was something that they'll want to go back to the Netherlands game and just figure out a way to bowl at that exact spot that they want to, and maybe just use that fence also. Longer boundary may help, but at this point of time, you'll have to whatever Hardik did, to the ball. You'll need the bowlers will have to resort to something like that to get now, because the thing is he's not giving you chances, and that
Yeah.
is the scariest part. It's not that he's giving you chances and there have been drop catches and then he's gone on to hit, all of that runs. And so kudos though. I expected him to be potential player of the series if South Africa go on to win. So at least maybe that prediction may come true. But yeah, and also just in that jest, maybe the journalist who asked Josh Butter about Anderson and Broad, maybe he had some foresight that they'll have to go back to them to find a way to get Klassen out, because I don't think there is anything that you can point out that this is where he's weak. So, and again, it will be even more difficult on a flat deck. So yeah, on surfaces where there is some help with spin or with pace, you'll expect that okay, movement is there. So I think with the entire South African team, everybody's in form. They had Reeza coming in today, and he's looked in very great touch. So I don't think you can have a better batting lineup in that sense, where almost everybody is form. Everybody is in very good touch.
Maybe it's time for David Miller to score a big one in the next game, because he's been someone who's got starts but not really scored big ones. Last question on this game, but how good was Jansen today with the bat? I mean, I was taken aback with some of the strokes that he played. Just talk. What did he do today with the bat, and what were those strokes? I mean, on the back foot, he was lifting it straight. How was he able to do it?
But the thing about Jansen is that this has been a long time coming, a big knock like this, because I was looking at some of his numbers this year as a batter. So he's played like I think 13 ODI innings, and out of those 13, 12 innings he's crossed double digits, and he's averaging before today itself he was averaging 30 plus at a strike rate of close to 110 something. And he's pretty much, and we have to understand the responsibility Jansen has, because
Yeah.
he's batting at number 7, which I think we all felt at some point is one spot too
Spot
high
too
for
high.
him.
Yeah.
But you have to realize the drop in quality between Jansen at 7 and someone like a Kotsi at 8. It's huge. It's not like Jansen is batting just above someone like an Adil Rashid or David Willey. He's batting above someone like a Gerald Kotse who's maybe who has potential, but he's not proven as a batter at any level. So, and today, he had like 14 overs to bat out. If South Africa had lost, they were like 228 for 5 or something like that, 230 for 5. If they had been reduced to 250 for 6, 250 270 for 6, then England are realistically looking at restricting them to some 325, 330, which might have made this match a bit more interesting. England would have approached it with they would not have been deflated while taking to the field, obviously. But and you have to realize the one big part about Jansen's innings today, that Klaasen was physically gone by the time he got to 70, 80. Klaasen was gone, and England were probably thinking, okay, Klaasen is tired, so maybe we can save 30, 40 runs. But Jansen is just coming out all fresh, and he's absolutely smoking it everywhere. And like some of the shots he hit were just insane. And
He hit one to Mark Wood, backing
he-
away over covers, and I was like, "What is this?" I was
brilliant.
Long
like,
years, long years.
"What is happening?" Yeah.
And I'm just like absolutely stunned that this is legit Marco Jansen's first full year in international cricket as a white ball player, and he's already achieved this. I mean, and I'm
Lot
not
more
even
potential.
I've not
Yeah.
even got to the part about his bowling. So no, we've all, the media has been pushing Cameron Green as the next poster boy of Ben Stokes or whatever for the last 18 months or so. But I don't, in white ball cricket at least, it just feels like Marco Jansen is the hottest prospect right now in terms of all rounders. He's just unbelievably good, and I am just waiting for his progress. And once he gets polished, who knows how good he'll become. It's just
Yeah. See, you can also understand why they don't hype him up, because he's not an Australian or an English.
that's
So
true.
that's where all the hype happens. So yeah, we have to work our way around that.
So, yeah, I mean, now South Africa have won 3 out of 4 with a very good net run rate, and now they play Bangladesh in Mumbai, Pakistan in Chennai, New Zealand in Pune, India in Kolkata, and Afghanistan in Ahmedabad. Surely, in the worst case, they get to 6 wins and they qualify for the semis. Or do you think they could even get 4, given they play New Zealand in Pune, which is again a good batting surface where we would see some bounce and movement in the second innings, and then they play India at Kolkata. So South Africa, is it fair to say that they're pretty much halfway there to the last 4?
Yeah, see, also if you look at the games that they're playing, you'll expect them to take care of Bangladesh at least in Bombay, and then you have New Zealand game and India game. You can say that okay, there could be, it could go either ways, but then you also have a game at Ahmedabad, which I think is also against an opponent that you will feel that they should be able to take care of. So if you go by that logic, they already have 3 wins, and you add 3 more wins to that. Again, we've been talking about 6 wins being enough. So you expect them to at least get those 3 wins, and then even if they have one bad game versus India or New Zealand, it could still be okay for them. But again, I think eventually it has to come down to conditions and how they play. So they play, of course, Bangladesh, and then they play Pakistan in Chennai. The Pakistan game could be tricky if the surface holds up. But if it doesn't, and it has the bounce that they have, then I don't think South Africa are going to complain. I think they're probably a side who wants to bat on better batting surfaces, so that just eases them out. So they are playing in Pune, they are playing in Wankhede, and they are playing in Chennai.
Kolkata
So and
Ahmedabad as
Kolkata
well.
also got.
and Ahmedabad. So if again they'll hope after those 5 games, again, just the same logic. 3 should be on
Yeah.
very good batting wicket. And that's where you expect them to outbat the opponents. And 2 games against India or New Zealand, if they go here and there, they'll still have that route, because you'll have to see how other teams also cope up. So yeah, again, we've called in. I wanted India South Africa final, so I'm definitely wanting them to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was another game. we've talked a lot about this game, but in all honesty, there was a lot to talk about given all the action that unfolded. But we've not forgotten the first game that happened in the day. Now, Netherlands recovered very well. They were 90 odd for six, and they reached 260. Uh, where did that game turn in terms of Netherlands first reaching that score, and then Sri Lanka making that chase possible? Because again, Netherlands had Sri Lanka two down in the first end, and then they again got Patum Nasanka out after he had gotten to 50. I think just teams now should just be prepared. Okay, Patum Nasanka, take your 50 runs now. Please, you can go back. But yeah, Nikhil, talk to me about the first innings in that game. What did Netherlands could have what could have Netherlands done better, and what could Sri Lanka have done better to ensure that from that point where they had Netherlands 91 for six, that they shouldn't have reached 262.
Yeah, I think firstly both Rajita and Madhushanka bowled very very well. Again, we discussed about Rajita having that bit about running through sides, and he ended up with a four for. And how apt that you feel both the new ball bowlers eventually shared 8 wickets between them. So at 91 for six, I did feel a lot of those dismissals where again they were beaten by the swing. You talk about Vikramjit, you talk about Max Stoddard getting inside edge bowled. As the LBW that they had of Teja, which again a lot of us felt that looked more out than not out. But from there to go to 262, I think Scott Edwards, I expected a lot out of him. But when Thikshana got him, I felt that okay, this could really get very, very, tricky. But then both Saibran and Van Beek showed that there is a way and there is time, which is I think sometimes we all tend to miss out in the collapses that happen here and there. That in ODIs there is a lot more time for you to just be there and get yourself enough time, get yourself used to the wicket. So I think they also batted the paces and spinners well. I do feel there were enough chances where they could have gotten out in terms of they were beaten and you had a few misses here and there. But both of them combined to put on 130. Now we don't add 130 just like that. So they showed a lot of application. Sabran was very good, and again it took Madhushanka only to come back and get him out, so that they could then have another mini collapse because they were 221 for six, and then suddenly they went like they lost wickets very quickly, which again you can't blame them for because it only happened in the last 5 overs. So at 262, I still felt they had enough. And when Kusal Pereira got out to Arendar, I felt that okay, this could really go down the wire. But then there was a catch drop, and then Kusal Mendis played the same shot in the very same over to get out of the sweep as well, which I found was very, very surprising that you've just seen the other guy getting dropped in that very same over. So in this, and there also you have to credit Netherlands because it was a shorter leg side boundary. So they wanted the batters to target that boundary, and then Arendar bowled just at the right pace for them to induce those mistakes, and then he got those wickets. But maybe the target helped Sri Lanka just not rush because at no point of time did you see them rushing through. So Nisanga did get a lot of boundaries, but you could almost see them coming at a similar time. That okay, he's hit two in a couple of overs, and then there's a period of lull, and then he's hit one, and then he's hit one again. So I think in terms of pressure, they probably felt and they backed themselves that we'll be able to take it out because we had Sadira at the other end. And once that first ball stumping, which was very, very tough on Scott Edwards also. Now, had that been taken, I would have been very that okay, this game could go anywhere now. But I think they just probably trusted their defense a bit more. And Sadira again batted at a very good rate to end up with 91, good number to have.
Yeah, and that too without taking a lot of risk, because I was following the partnership between him and Asalanka, and he was hardly taking any risk. It was only Asalanka who hit two boundaries and a six before Sarira found the boundary. Anirudh, what do you make of Kusal Mendis' captaincy today? Because I felt the move to bowl Rajita seven overs straight was a very aggressive move in order to close out the game then. But do you think post that he could have done something better to ensure that maybe Netherlands could be restricted, because Tikshana came to bowl his couple of 2-3 overs in the end. So did Madhushanka. Maybe that could have been done earlier. What do you feel?
I mean, see, in a way, I feel for Kusal Mendis and Sri Lanka because they don't have Hasaranga, who is their biggest wicket taking threat in the middle overs. They hope that Velalage would be that guy who steps in, in the absence of Hasaranga, and he can take wickets in the middle overs like he did in the Asia Cup. But unfortunately, the wickets have not aided spin that much in this World Cup. And also, if you look at the venues Sri Lanka have played, except, I mean, I know this was Lucknow, but in general, the venues Sri Lanka have played have been harsh to them. It's like Delhi, and I think they played. Where else did they play? But they've largely played on wickets that are not suitable for spin. So, and or also they don't have Chamira as well. So that has been Sri Lanka's biggest problem in this World Cup so far. I just checked some numbers. Sri Lanka in the 11 to 40 phase are the worst team in this World Cup. Their average is 74.4, and that is why they're struggling to kill teams off. You see, we saw it in the Pakistan match as well. They reduced Pakistan to like 50, 60 odd for three, and then after that, they still could not finish the job off, and they let them chase 350 or whatever. So I feel for Kusal Mendis that way, in the sense that the two biggest threats for the middle overs, which should have been Chamira and Hasaranga, have been taken away from Sri Lanka. So they are doing their best. So it's really hard to be harsh on Sri Lanka considering the injuries they've had. And I would like to say I've been really impressed with how their batting has stepped up all tournament. I know they had their collapse against Australia. I know they probably did not score as many as they should have against Pakistan after having that great start, but still, this was probably the most impressive batting performance they've had all tournament to chase. I know it's people will look at it like, oh, it's just Netherlands, so why are we even talking about it? But Netherlands, as we discussed in the preview, have a very well-rounded attack. They have all bases covered, and on a Lucknow wicket that was probably not a batting paradise like Mumbai or Bangalore. It was clearly slow and sluggish, and you needed proper application to bat out on this surface. So, all things considered, Sri Lanka kept their composure and did really well today. And that's what, out of four matches, they've had three very encouraging batting performances and one batting performance where they were like 60% good and then 40% horrible. So I would just say, watch out England at the Chinnaswamy because if Sri Lanka click, who knows, right? If Sri Lanka bat first and click, who knows?
That could be the worst nightmare of England. That is, Sri Lanka find a way to do a repeat of 2019. They would just be.
And Sri Lanka are coached by Chris Silverwood.
Oh yeah.
So of course, there is a lot riding there.
But
Yeah.
we before we move on to the next section, I will take a few comments, but we just to show where all Sri Lanka play now. We have their fixtures. They play on Thursday. They play England in Bengaluru, then Afghanistan in Pune, India in Mumbai, Bangladesh in Delhi, and New Zealand in Bangalore. So, where do you guys think Sri Lanka can end up? Can they manage 5 wins out of 9, or do you think it would be around 4?
Yeah, you'll expect them to look to put up a fight with the batting attack. But if you go back to the graphic there, you see a lot of these games now are on good batting wickets. If England in Bangalore should be a good batting wicket. Pune was a good batting wicket. Mumbai definitely a very good batting wicket, and Bangalore again in New Zealand. So 4 games they are going to play on very good batting decks, and the one game that they are playing in Delhi, if it is the second venue, if it is the pitch like it was in the Afghanistan game, and if it is holding up, they are going to play Bangladesh, who are not going to make this easy for them. So they'll probably feel that okay, Afghanistan will probably look to outbat them, but other 3 games are also very very tough ones. So at this point of time, 3 is what you feel they could potentially get at in terms of 2 more wins against Afghanistan and Bangladesh. But other 3, they really look tough at this point. And even Bangladesh, if they get the spin attack right for that very given day, you really never know. So I think it's a tough road ahead, but hopefully a few positive signs to come from there, so that they can build on something from there.
A few comments have come in. Sanjay Papyagiri is saying, at this rate, Nick's bhai will be very happy with the pace at which every spinner is bowling in the World Cup except Jadeja.
I have given up on Jadeja. He's doing a great job. As long as he's keeping control and allowing Kuldeep and others to take wickets, at this point of time, and I'm taking that. बाकी फिर बाद में बात करेंगे.
Yeah. Pranav Anand says, I don't know how this will translate into T20, but Aryan, that is a very good package if you add his hitting skill down the order. Hope these performances are getting noticed by IPL franchises.
He
Pranav,
was.
if you have some more time, look at some of the things that is done in T10.
If he's, I mean, I was just saying, like, if some of these players were born in Afghanistan, they would have picked up by IPL franchises already. It's just that people tend to, downplay Netherlands players or from other associate
Yeah,
nations.
Sanjay being cheeky there once again. Don't be surprised if a few players from Netherlands get into England by next World Cup, like Van Beek, Meekeren, Bas de Leede, Scott Edwards, Ackerman. Given anyway, most of them play counties. For that, we have to hope that Netherlands keep winning, so that there isn't a dearth of opportunities for the there isn't rather a scarcity of opportunities for the Netherlands team. So yeah, let's hope that happens.
Edwards might play for Australia, by the way, because I think he has an Australian passport. So who knows?
Who does he
Okay,
replace though?
English.
I knew that. I knew it. I knew it. This is why I said the other name. Cool.
yeah. So yeah, I think we are pretty much done. I'm just going through the comments and seeing if there is any comment more that we can take, and just sharing the points table after the two games that have happened today. uh, England has slipped to the ninth spot. A lot of people would enjoy watching this. In the preview show, I said that I'd be looking forward to having four teams at 5 points, but clearly that did not happen. Now Australia have gone fourth, given the given what happened today. Pakistan are fifth. Bangladesh, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, and England all logged at 2 points with their net run rates in the negative, and Afghanistan have now slipped to the 10th spot. Do you guys think Afghanistan will stay at that spot, or they'll probably finish ninth or maybe eighth?
Yeah, we can have a look at the games that they're playing, and they're playing Pakistan in Chennai, which again will depend a lot on the kind of surface that they get and the type of and the kind of Pakistan that comes up on that very given day. Uh, After that, who do they play? They go on to
Sri
play
Lanka and Pune.
Sri Lanka and Pune, which again, I just hope there are games where Ibrahim and Gurbaz both come off, because that's where you'll see the different side of Afghanistan come through. Even if it's on a flat day, you expect Gurbaz and them to have a very good time. So that's
I
where.
just one second, Nikhil. Just because you mentioned the thing about flat deck, I think Afghanistan and Sri Lanka played a warm up match in Guwahati, and I think Sri Lanka posted about 280, and Afghanistan managed to chase it down inside 40 overs for the loss of 1 wicket, with the
Mehmet
top three
Somi's
scoring
favorite,
centuries, I
Somi's
think,
favorite
including Rahmat Shah.
I wanted to
yeah.
get Somesh in there somehow, because he's been the guy who's getting people into form. So if you're looking at someone to make an impact, please mention that whenever Somesh is there. Once he takes the name, you are assured of a very good performance coming soon. So yeah, he didn't have South Africa in the top four, so we'll definitely catch him on that as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just feels that right now the battle for, see, I've always felt that after England's defeat against Afghanistan, I felt that the fourth spot will be decided in the games between Australia, England, and Pakistan. So Australia have already beaten Pakistan now, and there's a good chance now that the loser of England versus Pakistan. I have to see where it's happening. I'm not exactly sure where
Let
England
me
versus
let me pull up England's fixtures. I think that's happening in Bangalore.
England,
No, it's
Pakistan.
happening in Kolkata. It's also in November.
Oh yes, oh yes. I have a strong feeling that the loser of England versus Pakistan, or the winner of England versus Pakistan might, the loser of England versus Pakistan might probably miss out, because we saw that England need to win everything to stay in contention due to the net run rate, and Pakistan do have a few tricky fixtures, such as Afghanistan in Chennai, and they do have New Zealand in Chinnaswamy, if I'm not wrong. So Pakistan do have tough fixtures. So I think what happened today was the best possible result for Australia, probably, if you look at it, because you know I know that South Africa losing would have put many teams in with 2-2, but what South Africa have done is basically knock England out of the World Cup by hammering them by 200 plus runs. So that is a huge boost for Australia and Pakistan, who would both be really happy right now. So let's just hope it does not come to a scenario where the top four decided with 10 games to go. Then the last week of the World Cup will just be boring, and we'll be just looking at, oh, is it one, is it two, is it three, is it four? So let's hope that Pakistan and Australia both and England also win enough matches so that the race goes into the final 2-3 days. But right now, I feel like if you just could display a table once, I think there's a good chance these four might be the semi-finalists, and who knows, the position might stay the same as well. There's a good chance that might happen. So then we'll have New Zealand, Australia, and India, South Africa, which would be epic. But let's see. Too early to call, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it is eventually November 11th, the second game, England Pakistan. Maybe that could be the eventual decider for the fourth spot, and nobody will mind it. Second last day of the league stage in terms of the group stage. So yeah, let's hope that is where it ends. Australia Bangladesh at one venue, and England Pakistan at the other.
is it a double header?
Yeah, it's a double header. 11
Oh, okay.
November.
That's nice.
Anyway, with this we come towards the end of the show today. It's been a longest show, but that's what probably the day deserved, given there were two games which actually you know change the fortunes of not just the four teams involved, but all the others who are also in that mid-table battle. Tomorrow's a big day. India will be facing their recent nemesis in the ICC tournaments. You can be assured that I will try not to wear the black turban tomorrow. But we'll have three shows: the preview show, the mid inning show, and the review show. And there's a reason why we did not talk about the game, because we are not the broadcaster. We want to discuss the games at hand, and we want something to be left to discuss the next day. So please do tune in tomorrow, 5 minutes prior to the toss, and after the innings break, after the first innings ends, and then after the review. Hopefully it's 5-5 for India. I know we are supposed to be neutral, but in India games you have to excuse us on that front. But thank you so much, Nikhil. Thank you so much, Anirudh. Hope to see both of you tomorrow again. I don't know if tomorrow I am doing this tough job again, but let's see. So on that note, thank you so much to all the viewers who have tuned in. Please don't forget to like the video. Also subscribe to cricket.com. We are there with lots more content, even on our social media handles. Check out the app. There's a brilliant feature that will come up, a tactical piece of this game. I'm sure Anirudh is working on another great piece of his. Please do not forget to check out his pieces. They're great as usual. So goodbye. Tomorrow hopefully is a good game, and we have smiles on our face in the review show. Bye bye.
Cheers. Check that.